All right, welcome to the OPP Only Pools podcast. My name is Brian. I'm owner of AquaServ Pool Service.
And I'm TK. I'm the training manager here at AquaServ.
You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. You ever go swimming? Man, it's so much fun. Now we got a podcast joining everyone. Talking about pools, the stories we share. From backyard splashing to Olympic fair. We got chlorine, pH, and filter tips. Keep your pool fresh, avoiding no slips. With hosts so cool and guests so neat. We're dropping pool knowledge that it can't be beat. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. Only Pools Podcast. Let's go.
All right, this is our first podcast officially. We're creating this podcast because we just want to have a little fun. I want to give back a little bit of value and a little bit of my knowledge that I've gained over the last 12 or 13 years of doing pools. It's meant to be lighthearted and fun. If you get offended very easily, this might not be the channel you want to watch. No snowflakes are allowed here, so just that fair warning to begin with. In case you didn't pick up on the innuendos of our, OPP, for those Gen Xers out there that remember the rap song by Naughty by Nature, the Only Pools podcast. We do that a lot here as a company, AquaServ Pool Service. Our slogan is making pools great again. Again, play off of Donald Trump's slogan, making America great again. So we kind of do that a lot here. So, and of course, Only Pools and Only Fans. We'll see if it gains any traction or not. But just make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to our channel so that other people can hear about us, and hopefully we can pass on some pool knowledge to them as well.
Yeah, there is a lot of content already on the channel, but we also have a lot more planned. Well, a lot more that I have to do. But as far as tutorials, cleanings, time lapses of repairs, a lot of stuff is on there. Will be going on there, so be sure, just look through all the tabs. There'll be a podcast tab, a shorts tab, a video tab, everything on there. And with the podcast, this is like a raw talk almost.
Yes, yeah, pretty much. We're kind of shooting from the hip. We'll talk about a subject, beforehand, but we just kind of wing it from there. Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna have episodes. I'm gonna bring probably other pool company owners on. I'm friends with a lot of them. That'd be some good content, so you can get perspective from how a lot of us are all aligning in going the same direction. We want to see the industry as a whole improve. So the type of owners that I bring on will be in line with what we do and what our hope for the industry is. So,
and speaking of that, my roommate works for, I guess, a competitor, another pool, and all we do when we get home is just like, this story and this person that happened today. And so
yeah,
I'm curious when those other people come on, what their stories are like.
Yeah,
from the nightmares that not only us, but the other stores that I know go through on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, about 2 months ago, we had a picnic with it was me and about 12 other company owners. We got together for a picnic and grilled out, had steaks, ribs, chicken, hamburgers, hot dogs. It was a good time.
I invited to that.
Sorry. You were probably out surfing.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, so we went there, Jessica and I, and we got to talk to the other owners. They go through the exact same things that we do. Some of us are at different points in our with our businesses than others, but we've all felt the weight of employee situations, insurance costs, the rising cost of every product that we sell. I just got a notice from Pentair, Jandy, and Hayward. They're all going to go up about 4% in price in August. So, I mean, it's never ending stuff that we all have to deal with. And it felt good to talk to them, and I'm sure it did for them too, to be able to realize, hey, it's not just me going through this.
Yeah.
So, it's good. And, for you homeowners out there that if you hop pool companies, keep in mind, we all talk to each other.
Yeah.
That there's a good chance that we all talk to each other and we talk about good clients, bad clients. So there's a little insider information that you might not have known, but we do all get together. We do all talk about stuff. So be careful out there.
even my roommate with just a customer they were complaining about service and something else, and they're like, well, you guys are too expensive anyways, we're gonna go there. And he's like, they had our bottom tier service, the cheapest we can do. And I was like, you and one other company, I don't think there's anybody cheaper, because if you come our way, it's going to be more expensive. But it's good to know that other companies and other techs all run into the same thing.
Yeah.
You feel better about, was it my fault? No, probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's honestly one of the reasons that I prefer hiring people with no experience. I get to train them my way. They don't have to come with any bad habits from other stores or companies. So if they're making mistakes, it's on me. It's my fault. So for you homeowners out there, my techs are messing up somewhere. Don't blame them. Blame me, because it ultimately falls on me. So, but it's a lot easier to manage that than it is beating bad habits out of older techs.
The last couple we hired, I've noticed that, because we did a two or three people kind of at once.
Yep.
And then they all scattered around with other ones, and I got to train two of them, not that third one. But one had a little experience, one had none whatsoever, and it's just nice to be, okay, complete the list. 1 through 5, when you're done with that, come back here. 6 through 10, come back here. And I know that everything's getting done, but people I've had in the past, or the other companies I've worked with, when they've come from another company, it's like, hey, I got everything done. You're like,
yeah.
Right. That was 4 minutes. How'd you get everything done? And you're like, no, you didn't.
Right.
But our training program has improved a lot. We've sunk a lot of time into it.
Yes, and I mean, I'm very proud of what we've developed so far. I still think that we can constantly improve it. There's always room for improvement. It's nice though, because we're kind of setting the stage for hopefully other companies to do training like we do, or similarly, especially at least let them have the time into experience and before they're out on their own. We're at minimum 4-week training period for our techs, which most other companies are 1 to 2 weeks max, and they expect them to kind of know all that, and they kind of get thrown into the deep end. Excuse the pun.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I could do it for 2 months, I would. If I could hold them back that long, but right now we think 1 is pretty decent. Here at AquaServ, we started a trade school of sorts that we're going to be training other companies, techs, as well as if somebody wants to get into the pool industry and needs that experience in order to get a job, we're going to train them for a 2-month period so they can get that experience of working on their own, and we're going to help them get jobs at other pool companies.
Yeah.
It'll help the other pool companies out, because they don't have to train anybody, because it's pretty much they run the same, similarly to the way AquaServ does. So when they can just step in and go, there's no training, on really new procedures or systems. So,
and it's a no-brainer out here because it's Florida. Every place you're going to vacation out here most likely has a pool. Your granddad and grandma who are retired out here, they probably have a pool or a community pool. It's like, if you want job security, or if you want to choose from multiple different companies, pool one's crazy. This is, well, I guess technically my 5th pool company I've worked for, but as far as just pool technician, my 2nd one, and it's as far as a customer standpoint, the best one I've been with.
Well, thank you. Like I said, we're trying to improve it all the time, and make sure the customer satisfaction is there, and that they know that they're our priority. We're hiring, moving people into management positions that have been here for some time. Kristen, she worked as a tech first for a year, then she went in to answer phones for a year, and it's been working with customers. So she's getting promoted up to customer service manager, and she'll be out in the field talking to our customers and signing up new people.
That's awesome.
So, the people that have been here that are loyal, they we move them up, and then that creates more room for the new trainees that we have to advance and move up too. Which, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, because customers love to have the same tech all the time.
Yeah.
But when you got somebody that's a rock star that's rising, you don't want to keep them down either. So it's a fine line on my end from deciding, hey, am I going to pull this tech? 'Cause I've got a tech that I haven't pulled out of residential because the customers just love them so much that honestly, I don't want the grief of, hey, you give me a new tech, even though they've changed techs before, and our training is exactly the same. So you should get the exact same service
But
from
that rapport, yeah.
right. So, but personalities have to match up, I guess. So.
That's I got stopped at a Walmart maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I'll never forget her. Her name's Cindy. I did her pool for I think a year and a half, and at Walmart she like pulled me aside and she's like, "You don't clean my pool anymore." And I was like, "Oh no, I got a promotion," and I thought it was going to be like you're going to be happy for me. I'm happy. Like, I'm still with the company. And she was like, I don't like the new guy. He doesn't do this and he doesn't do this and he doesn't like dogs. And I was just like, oh, okay. Well, I'm just getting groceries. But it makes a huge difference if you can build that rapport, especially if it's around Christmas time.
Yeah.
And residential, because some places leave you little Christmas cards and there's money in them.
Yep. One of our residential techs here, Daisy, she does a fantastic job on her pools, and she has that good rapport with customers. She
has like 10,000 5 stars.
Yeah. I mean, we have 160 some 5 stars. She probably has at least 60 of them. She just gets that rapport real quick with the customers, and she does a great job on the pools. So, but she's another one that I haven't really moved up because the current customers like her a lot. So I like to leave her there if I can. But the day will come that she's going to say, hey,
I want to do something different. Yeah.
So that happens.
Have you noticed, like, the last place I worked at, it was like a revolving door of like techs and stuff like that?
I mean, even we get that, and we're, I mean, I don't want to say we're the best company because I don't know what a lot of other companies do. I only worked for one other pool company in my history.
I was going to ask you if you
no
ever worked
pools.
for another one.
Yeah, I can tell you about that in a second, but that's a whole long story. But we only work our techs 4 days per week, so they get 3 day weekends. If they're residential service tech, they get Saturday, Sunday, and Mondays off.
Yeah.
If they're commercial, they get Thursday, Saturday, Sunday off. So,
which I prefer the Panama week. Having the Thursday off is
so, but we want them to have that life work balance too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're working 10-hour days in the pool industry. Every pool company I know, the techs they're already working 10 to 12 hours a day just because of the heavy load of pools that they're supposed to do for other companies. I know we cap about 16 pools per day as a max that we'll let our techs do. Other companies are doing 20, 25, 30. I know when I worked at it, I was doing 30. 32 was the most I did in one day. And I can promise I didn't do a very good job on 32 pools. That's a lot. So, when I started the company, I wanted to make sure I didn't overwork the techs because I don't want to lose them.
Yeah.
But we still have a decent flow because this work is not for everybody.
And right now it's like the worst they can get in the summertime.
Yeah.
Because it's muggy, it's hot, and then cool. Now it's raining. It's going to rain for a half hour, and you're just like, well, do I stick it out and wait, or do I try and rush through? And you're just like, why? Why?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, and my ad is a little bit misleading because as I'm looking for people, kind of my first sentence I say is, hey, are you looking for a new career? You want a fun job that you can put in headphones, listen to music, and get a tan? This might be the career for you.
Weather permitting, you can do that.
Yes, all that is true, but it sounds like sunshine and rainbows, of a cake job, and it's not. It's hard work.
Yeah.
Once you understand what you're doing and you get into your flow, I think it's easy. And believe me, if I had my choice to do all over again, I would love to just be a tech in the field on a choice route, like all the houses on the water.
Tierra Verde, all the nice,
St. Pete Beach, and these beautiful homes, beautiful pools on the water. So I'm getting the breeze and the views, and it's all great stuff. So
nearby gas stations.
That's a difference between residential and commercial. Why I like commercial better because all my stops have their own bathrooms that I can stop at. But residential, I kind of have to dance around until I can get to the gas station.
Yeah, going 2 more blocks, there's a gas station between this house. You plan out your lunch.
Yep. So that's the advantage on commercial versus residential. But But no, if I didn't have to answer my phone and run a business, I would love nothing more than just do a route, do my work, get home at 3 o'clock, 4 days a week. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So
Vince and I were talking, the repair manager, when we were saying about 20 pools versus 15 pools. He's like, you do 5 pools, you have 20 left. In your head, 20 is a scary number.
Mm.
Versus you do 3 pools, 5 pools, and now you only have 10 or 9 pools left. Much more manageable. You're not rushed.
Yeah.
Even though you'll probably finish them all in that a lot of time. It's crazy when you go from a place that has 20 to 25 pools a day to 15, and you can relax, you can take your time doing everything, and it's
right. And that's why we try to cap it at 16, because I want them to take their time, spend enough time there to do the job right, not rush through it. But ironically, when you brought that up, I like, we've done as many as 18 pools, I think, in a day. But my guy that's getting 18 pools done a day, he would get, if he's doing 12 or he's doing 18, he gets done at the same time somehow.
yeah.
Every single time. I don't know what he's doing differently. I don't think I want to know when he gets if he had 18. But yeah, it happens like that.
With now starting this wasn't your first career path, right?
No,
You had a different.
I've had a few different things, but all of them have I've always been around water in anything I've ever done. I was EMT with Alachua County Fire Rescue, and I started their water emergency team. This was back in college. It's like 20, 22, 23 years old. Oh, no. Well, yeah. Actually, yeah, it was about that many years. Actually, a little more than that. I don't want to reveal my age. I mean, I'm 50 now, but yeah, when I was 20, from 22 to like 24, 25, I was in Gainesville working for the fire department, but I started their water emergency team. I'm a water baby. I've been in the water my whole life. Been scuba diving since I was 8 years old. Got certified at 10. Yeah, and I grew up down in the Keys, so rough. Yeah, poor Brian. So everything I've done, I mean, I've used to build and design aquariums for hotels, restaurants, and nice businesses and things like that. And that's why I have an aquarium here in our office, and I've got one at my house.
Big one. At our last office.
And then I've been a lifeguard. I've been a scuba instructor. And then, what got me into pools is when I was doing aquariums, aquariums and pools are very similar. We're testing for pH, we're testing for alkalinity, we're dealing with filtration, cartridge filters, carbon filters, pumps. So it's very, very close. Difference is with pools, I have to keep humans alive, and versus keeping fish alive. Humans are much easier.
You can't just go buy a new human.
Right. I can't bleach a fish tank because you get rid of the algae like I can a pool. But no, my ex-wife, when we split up, it was very amicable. We knew that we should be together. So we split up. My truck was in her name. Her car was in my name. And at first when we split up, everything was cool. And I told her, I signed over her car to her. And then I was like, okay, we'll do the paperwork on mine later on my truck. The divorce was already done and we're good. And then she started dating some Yahoo that put in her head that she has the power to blackmail me and use my car as leverage, my truck. And because she knew that I used it for teaching scuba and stuff, to haul trailers and all this stuff.
Oh, crap.
And thing that she must not have figured out in the 15 years we were together is you don't corner me or try to blackmail me, because I will call your bluff. She said, well, if you don't pay me this, this, and this is after our divorce was over and final, then I'm going to take your truck. So I tossed her the keys. I said, good luck. She looked at me. She's like, what? I'm like, yep, bye. See ya. Then after she left, I'm like, oh, crap, what'd I do? For about a second. And then I've always been very resourceful. I was like, okay, well, I need a job that can give me a take-home work vehicle, preferably a truck. And in my mind, I was looking on Craigslist for jobs, and I saw a pool company that was hiring. And I went in and said, listen, I don't have any experience in pools, but I know aquariums, which are very similar. And I'll work for free for 3 weeks for training. You don't have to pay me at all. And of course, that caught his ears perked up. It's totally illegal for him to do, but
Intern.
yes. So he his version of training me was 3 days, well, 2 technically. First day was with a gentleman that spoke no English, and he said net pool. So I netted 30 pools that first day. Yep.
Easy.
No video. I'm like, oh, this is a piece of cake. Second day, they owned a restaurant. This is in Orlando. They owned a restaurant, and the back of the restaurant, he made me watch 8 hours of YouTube videos on how to clean pools.
Goodness.
Day 3 was here's your keys, here's your truck, here's your route. Good luck. That was it.
So the 3 weeks for free, was that
Yeah.
did you get the experience or?
Yeah. I mean, he didn't pay me for those first 3 weeks, even though I was on my own on the day 3. So he was yelling at me a lot for those 3 weeks because the pools were turning green, a lot of complaints. So finally, I just got tired of being yelled at, and I was like, okay, I thought I was Oprah. You're getting shocked. You're getting shocked. You're getting shocked. And I shocked all these pools and got them back to blue again. Customers are happy, no complaints. And then eventually the repair manager that he had kind of stood back and called me over. He's like, hey, I know what you're doing, because I know you're not getting any more complaints anymore, but you're going to mess these people's pools up. So then he started taking me under his wing a little bit, showing me some stuff, and I started understanding chemistry a little bit better. And
that's good, yeah.
So I started learning on my own, and because the owners for that company were horrible, and I knew that I worked for them for 2 years before I came to Pinellas County and met my current wife, and then when I moved here, I bought their pool truck and from them, and then moved here and started my own pool company because I knew I could do it better than what they were doing. So I knew I could offer some kind of better service.
And that was only like 5 years ago, right?
No, that's a little longer than that. That was 9 years ago.
9 years ago.
9, almost 10. Yep.
How long has AquaServ been?
AquaServ has been around for 5 years. I was AquaDocs for the first 4 years, and I learned a lot in those first 4 years. I was very unorganized. When we started AquaServ, I brought my wife on board, who has a IT background in HR, which has been tremendous help. She makes sure that I's are dotted, T's are crossed. Yes. All insurances are kept up, all licenses, all background checks on all employees. Where before it was kind of willy-nilly, like, hey, you got a heartbeat, you showed up to your interview on time, you're hired. And that's how I did it, because I didn't have a choice. But I was trying to do too much back then, and I was wearing too many hats, because we were doing repairs, we were doing renovations too, and the service side of it was starting to suffer. So in 2019, we stopped doing the renovations and stuff and started doing just service again. And we started growing it from there with my wife now, running the back office side of things, which allowed me to focus on, what we were great at. And here now, 5 years later, now we're slowly getting back into the renovation, and we're gonna start building new pools as well, in this year and going into next year. So
started designing some of them.
Yes, yeah. So I've difference between the two companies is back then I was trying to do everything. I didn't know anything. I wasn't very good at delegating stuff. Now I've got experienced managers that are amazing. I mean, Dan, Vince, now Kristen. You guys are the backbone of this company, and I know I can't do this myself. That took a long time for me to let that go and be able to hand stuff off, and I think it's made a big difference. So
we have like two. I started as a lifeguard, was an assistant admin, kept going up, then got into maintenance somehow, became a CPO, moved across the country, did my CPO again, came over here with you guys, did my CPO again. But not only my whole career based loosely around water, but the last place I worked at also was husband and wife like owners.
Okay.
And my roommate still works for that, but I always laugh at him because I'm like, he'll come home and be like, Mom or Dad and fighting the whole time we're at work, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, here, if I try to take a pool question to Mom,
right,
she's like, that's the dad job. If I go to Dad with a mom question, it's like, that's a mom question. There's no micromanaging, and it's been so nice. But there's a few questions where you're like, well, technically it's both.
Yeah,
But it's been fun because Dan and Vince can fix their way out of anything. They have like serial numbers to screws that are in specific little heaters from the 90s. They're just like, oh yeah, it's called this.
right.
I'm just like, who knows that? Why would you want to know that? Why do you have that knowledge? But it's been awesome coming here because the last place, biggest complaint was a lot of overlapping management and hasn't been fun to work with. But here, during lunch break, your wife's out there playing Beat Saber.
Yeah.
And it makes all of us look bad because we got next door just bread. We're just putting in carbs. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, working with her has been interesting. I was worried about it at first. I was working together if we could.
Mhm.
My ex-wife and I, when we worked together on a project, I had a minor league football team that I had, and we were working together and running that together. And I kind of established our boundaries there, which gave me a great foundation here. Said, okay, listen, this is your lane. This is what you do. This is my lane. This is what I do. Let's stay out of each other's lanes. And it's worked wonderfully. We've only crossed lanes, and it's usually me crossing into hers. And it's caused a brief conflict, but we always work through it. And, and once we go back to our own corners,
they're separated by a
works.
hallway.
Yeah. Yep. And, no, it's been really good. Like I said, if I brought her on the first one from the very beginning, we would have never changed. It would have been fantastic because it's just been having that support, her or even just an admin support. So for anybody that's watching that wants to start their own pool company, it's you out doing pools, and then your next hire before you hire a tech to do pools for you is an admin to do the back end stuff.
Yeah,
because that releases you to do so much more. That's just the number one tip I'd give anybody that's going into doing the service themselves. If they're okay with if you're a husband, wife, or boyfriend, girlfriend that fight all the time, don't do it at all.
Don't work together now.
But I've been fortunate that any person I've ever been involved with, I don't fight with them. Like, I don't pick fights. I pick my battles. I'm smart enough to know what I should or shouldn't fight against. And I mean, I've had 2 long-term relationships in my life, and both of them I can count on 2 hands how many fights or arguments we've gotten into in 15 years each. So that's,
hopeless romantic.
Yeah.
Has there been anything, I guess, outside of hiring people or, starting this business that was something you weren't ready for?
A lot. I used to, before I got into doing businesses myself, because I've done aquarium business, I've done this, and dive business, all kinds of stuff. I used to say I have no regrets in my life. I love the way my life turned out. I didn't go to college. I did a little bit just for my EMT and stuff, but
I went 6 years. Not worth it.
I didn't have any regrets. My biggest regret is not learning the proper business skills. For the business side of running my businesses. I've always been a go-getter. I work hard all the time, and anything that I go after, I do. But not having that business knowledge behind me, I would be so much further if I had. But that's my only regret. But I've learned along the way. And like I said before, I'm very resourceful. So I'll find if I don't know the answer, I'll find the people that do, and then hire them to do that thing. That's smart, yeah. I follow Branson and Musk, and I follow all these entrepreneurs that have done great things with their companies, and that's one thing that they all have done is whatever they're not great at, they hire the people that are great at it to do that part of it for them. Everybody knows their strengths. Mine is people, and that's my strength. Chemistry is probably in the business. Chemistry is probably my weakest point. Even though I know I'm really good at it, I don't have that strong conviction feeling when I'm talking about it.
The confidence
sometimes. So, but I mean, I can balance a pool like nobody else. But for me to teach that is harder. So that's why when we started our training programs that we have, I'm trying to get that confidence by teaching them, rather than just having you doing all the classes. That's why we split them and and share them, because I want to keep my edge, and that's the only way I can do it.
I've been an instructor in a few different fields, and that's my biggest takeaway in that is it's not necessarily knowing the subject matter, it's the people skills of how do I teach this person what he needs to learn versus this person. And that's been kind of the nice thing with all the variety we get here, whether they be young or old. We've had a few that have been young, a few that have been older than me, and it has been nice. But I tell you, going from other places where your bosses are like 60, stuck in their ways, you can't tell them anything different. Here, it's like you bring something up. Besides one manager we have, nobody really makes fun of you. And it's like, if you think it's a dumb question, just ask it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're quick here. It's easy to talk to people here. It's been super nice. Well, thank you with that too.
Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, I know that other companies have great things that they're good at. Like there's a large company that's locally here. Like in-house, we kind of make fun of them or reference them quite a bit. But I know they have some great people that work there that have been there for a long time, and they've moved them up. And they have stuff to contribute. So I've never count out other people that work for other companies because they can bring something new. Just like the experience you've had in doing other things with another company, you brought things and we've used it here and it's worked. I'll take little bits and pieces from different companies. Shout out to Eric Taylor, who has Chlorine King. He's got a great company. I've learned a lot from him and his YouTube videos and podcasts.
He's got a good channel,
And we've worked together on projects, and we've shown up at the same place to bid service at the same time. And it's like, oh, Eric, how you doing? Yeah. And then walk in the backyard and like, here, you can have this one. And he goes, no, you can have this one because it's terrible filtration. And I'm like, no, really, you can have it. But it's been great, and just working with a lot of other people in the industry. Will from Biggest Little Pools, he does a great job too. He's mostly on the Tampa side, I think. Will and Eric both have service companies, but they also created a renovation company as well. I worked with them for a little bit on that, and they're doing great with their stuff. And I'm just happy to compete in a area with such great, I don't want to say role models, but great enthusiasts about the industry. Jeff Hamp is another big one that he does renovations, and he's a tile mosaicist. That he does an amazing job with his tile work. And we're working on a project together now.
That's the crazy intricate new one.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep. It's my normal tile guy looked at it and he didn't seem real sure about himself. So I'm like, time to bring in a professional that does mosaics all the time. And I was glad I brought him in because he's a wealth of knowledge, and he's taught me a lot in the short time. And we've known each other for 8 years, and he's referred stuff to me because he knows my strength on equipment and service, and he's referred his clients stuff to me. And so I knew when this intricate job came up that he's the one I need to call to make sure it's done correctly. So, all right. So yeah, I mean, we've covered a lot of different stories so far, just in this last 30, 35 minutes or so. And, there's a lot more things that, I'd love to share with everybody out there. So just make sure you check out our channel, like, subscribe, share it. And, just keep swimming.
And if there's any other topics, comment down below. If you want to hear more of our stories too, because we only scratched like a 16th of our career in water, so we have a lot more crap to talk about.
Absolutely. And again, I want this channel to be informative and for you to learn stuff. Hopefully have a couple of laughs at our mistakes and our stories and things that we've done.
We have a lot more stories.
Yes,
a lot more stories.
Always. I mean, we haven't even talked about the naked people we run into in backyards and stuff. So that's a whole another show. But anyway, thank you for watching our first episode, and we look forward to bringing you many more to come.
Yeah. So, see you guys in the next one.
And just keep swimming.
You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. You ever go swimming, man? It's so much fun. Now we got a podcast joining everyone, talking about pools, the stories we share, from backyard splashing to Olympic fair. We got chlorine, pH, and filter tips. Keep your pool fresh, avoiding no slips. With hosts so cool and guests so neat. We're dropping pool knowledge that it can't be beat. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Every last homie. Dive into discussion conversations, no topics too small. From kiddie pools to water parks, we cover it all. We got pool parties and cannonballs too. If it's about water, we talking to you. Interviews with experts and stories to share. From poolside barbecues to water care. We got tips and tricks to keep your pool right. Listen in the morning or at the late night. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. O is for only, the best place to be. P is for pools, come dive in with me. P is for podcast, we talking weekly. Only Pools Podcast, the one and only. Grab your goggles and your floaties too. Tune in to our show, we got stuff for you. Poolside chats to aquatic news. Only Pools Podcast, you can't refuse. We teach you how to clean, how to keep it clear. The best pool stories that you'll ever hear. From summer fun to maintenance prep. Only Pools Podcast, we're your best bet. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. Only Pools Podcast.